Well, what do you know? Look at us back here, the almighty trio. You got me, Crevens.
Morgan.
Brent.
This is Shut Up and Listen, Be Ham. Hey, welcome back to the podcast where we talk about everything and anything that's the music scene in Bellingham and the greater area. Just want to make sure that we're giving everybody opportunities to really just show off or just really just dive deep into what they've been working on and what they want to share with the world. How you guys been this week?
Good. You?
Phenomenal.
It's nice to be back.
It is good to be
It's
back.
nice to have you back.
Sucked
Yes.
not being around last week.
I missed you last week.
Oh, it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because last week
took
we
last week
stopped
off.
for the 4th. Yeah.
Holiday
Oh,
week.
yeah. I
Yes.
saw some cool fireworks for the first time.
He did. He got to see the finale.
I never saw like a big show before. So that was-
Really?
Yeah, it was really dope.
We didn't even go to the actual show. We just watched it between two buildings.
Standing on State Street, looking at it, it's like, oh my god.
I live out in the county, so we just go literally on our driveway, and we just watch them all
That's more
around.
fun.
It's cool, and we're not that far away from Abbotsford, so it was Canada Day or Victoria Day or whatever
Yeah.
it is on July 1st. So,
I just got
and
double
my
those.
kid's birthday is July 4th.
So it was just a
So
celebration.
there's a lot happening.
This is why we didn't have Brent last week or 2 weeks ago because he was just turning up day after day after day after day.
No, there's a lot going on. But 2 weeks ago, I was sick.
Yep.
Yep.
He's down and out.
Yeah.
R.I.P. my guy.
All good.
back.
Lots of birthdays, stuff
Gave him some
happening.
CPR, he's
Yeah.
back.
Yep.
Minus our exciting reasons we haven't been together, we have a very special guest today.
Oh man, we got a
It's-
couple guests.
Me?
Yeah, I mean you're cool
I mean,
and
you're
all,
one of them.
No. Oh,
but this
okay.
is guy that I've been listening
got
to
this.
for a little while.
The dude with the dope hat. Yes.
Where you at?
Everybody, it's such a pleasure to welcome Dank Zavala to the podcast. Everybody make some noise.
It's an honor being here, guys. Thank you for having me on the first podcast of this year for me. It means a lot.
Absolutely.
sir.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in.
My
We're going to
man.
put that in your biography when you tell people who you are, that we were the first podcast of 2023 for you.
Sweet.
Let's get it, man. And I'm hoping this is the best one. So
Hey,
Absolutely.
always say that with your chest.
I'm loving the vibe already.
So, you're from Skagit, but we see you all the time in Whatcom County. Tell us who you are. For the people who don't know you, who are you? What are you doing? What's kind of like just the whole who is Dank Zavala?
Who?
Dank Zavala, man. A kid that came out of Mount Vernon, Washington, born and raised. Man, that's my heart right there. Currently, I'm living all around like Burlington, Mount Vernon, Cedro, the whole Skagit area.
Wait, did you drive up from there today?
Oh, of course. I wish I lived in Bellingham. I love this town. I would just be here even more often.
I was like, I'm a Mount Vernon kid too, but I love Bellingham.
Wait, you're from Mount Vernon?
I did.
Wow.
Graduated
I
and
had
all.
no idea.
I like to move a lot.
Hell
And I went to the alternative school.
Y'all went to school together.
You went to Mount Vernon High School when I went there?
Mm-hmm.
You remember me?
I went through a bunch of photos and I was like, wait a second. Hold on.
I'm embarrassed.
I honestly though, I went to the main high school for such a short period of time, and then I went to Emerson. I went to the alternative
Oh,
school.
dude,
I dipped.
I was forced to go to Emerson, but I told my pops, Dad, I'd rather work. And, because I was a troubled kid. I didn't try in school. I look back at that. I should have put in some effort, but it is what it is. It made me who I am. Now I'm helping kids that are in school right now, having a hard time and trying to get them creative, But me, I've been making music since I was 15. I've been a fan of hip-hop since I was like 10, maybe younger. Can't really get specific looking back. But I'm just a fan of all sorts of music, and you'll hear that influence in my music.
Yep.
Of course, I make hip-hop, Crevin knows, but like you'll hear influences here and there, like it's not just hip-hop influence, that's for sure. I've been making beats. I started making beats actually when I was 15, and everyone in my town, they got the word, and I was known as just that producer kid for the longest time. And then I think it was like when I turned 18, 19, I eventually like got serious into writing, At first I went by Dank Music, by the way, Dank, M-U-Z-I-K. But you would always hear Dank Zavala in those mixtapes. I just didn't want to be called, oh, that's Dank Music, I was just trying to sell the product that way. So now I'm just Dank Zavala all around. I'm doing my writing thing more. I actually just started getting back into beats recently this year. I made like over 20 in less than a month span, so I'm proud of myself on that.
Ethic, baby, ethic.
Yeah.
When that inspiration hits,
Yeah. Well, actually, I was blocked on my writing inspiration. I hit a fat writer's block moment. I'm just getting over right now.
That happens. That happens to everybody, man. I don't know what it
man.
is.
Thanks to my DJ Nate. Shout out to my homie Nate. He pulled me out of that slowly but surely, and I'm back on the pen.
Heck yeah. So besides the homie helping you out of it, is there anything that sparks or is your inspiration for writing music, or do you just whatever you're feeling in that moment that sparks it kind of?
Well, definitely I got to be feeling, I like switching environments, I like going like I said, I think what made me come out of my shell recently was just going to my homie's studio and writing and recording over there. I'm so used to writing and mixing and mastering all on my own self. Don't get me wrong, I still write with my own self, but I mix and master all of my songs 99.9% of the time, just because that all came from not having the budget to go big studios and pay for studio time.
I'm sorry, but that's a very good point, because in today's age, it's crazy how accessible making and just mixing and just all the tools for making music is. Like, you literally, YouTube University. That's what I graduated from.
Facts. Yeah.
And then with that being in mind, like, you've worked in so many like home studios. Those moments that you work in like a big studio, it can kind of be frightening sometimes, unless it's like, you find the right people and then it gets comfortable and you just get in there. But it's such a crazy different dynamic. I think it's cool.
Oh yeah.
Is that what you prefer then? Do you see yourself working in a, building up to being not at home, not at your DJs, but actually working in a bigger studio? Is that kind of an ultimate goal, to have that kind of that access?
It's one of my main goals, man, in this music production thing, because I want the quality to get better. Yeah. I'm still learning my mixing and mastering. My techniques are always changing. Sure. I'm always adapting. Every year I always try to get better, and I noticed like the previous year, like, I wouldn't do that now.
Right.
But yeah, the goal is to eventually make a career out of this, where it just pays for that studio time, or my own studio, like how you guys have my own engineer.
Shout out Bob.
Yeah.
Shout out Bob.
Binary recording studio.
Man, Cubase. I see that you guys use Cubase. That's exactly what I use to make music, and it's very underrated, and I've been using that since I started making music, honestly.
But I have something that I don't know, man. It's been sticking on my mind just after the first question. Your influence and just like being able to give back, just knowing how young you started coming up. I've been following that you do classes at Triumph Youth Center.
Yes, sir, in Mount Vernon.
Tell us about that. How did that come about? What does that entail? Like, inform us. I'm curious, because I've only seen like little clips and whatnot. So I just want to hear more about that.
Yeah. So right now it's a lot of behind the scenes work. I don't like to put the kids out there like in videos. Some of them don't feel comfortable in front of the camera, but one day,
just getting started.
One day they're gonna be feeling the superstar in themselves. The more beats they make, and just audio in general. Right now we're just making beats. It's Triumph Youth Center is an after-school program for students in grades from middle school to high school. Yeah. And it's really just an after-school program from like 3 to 5 p.m. You can do. There's a recording studio, and that's what I'm in charge of. I'm starting them off this year with making beats, and not everybody wants to get on the microphone yet.
You want to create a world for what you want to create. Yeah,
trying to get them comfortable,
creating that foundation,
getting to know each other. We even actually messed around with some podcast bits too. I had the kids do some podcasts, when they don't want to get on the keyboard, but. It's cool getting these kids to make a beat and then bouncing it and then just airdropping it to their phone. They go home showing their friends and family, hey, yo, I just made this beat, my first beat. And it's just, you see that glow, man.
That
it's
joy.
a beautiful thing, man.
How many kids are we talking?
So in a room, let's just say that the girls usually do the arts and crafts stuff for now, and the boys, they like to be in the studio more. And
he said everyone's split.
Yeah, it's funny because as soon as the girls come in, like they'll be freestyling or something, and the girls come in like, get out. So right now I'm trying to get them to build that confidence where they don't care who's watching, But I understand that that's a process.
We'll be right back after these messages.
This episode is brought to you by Black Noise Records, located downtown off Bay Street. They pay top prices for records in Bellingham and the greater Bellingham area, cash and store credit. Go get 10% off your next record purchase when you tell the cashier you've listened to Shut Up and Listen podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Binary Recording Studios, located where? Right here in Whatcom County. Binary has been in business for 1, 2, 3, I don't even know how long, but they are offering the best and the best and the best of the best video and audio production. So if you're a band and you're looking to record an album, or if you have any other audio recording needs, Binary Recording Studio is going to be where you need to go. My boy Bob, he will set you up. He will make sure that you are set up for what? Success. He will make sure that you are good to go. I think a big thing that I just want to, as well as I just don't know about Bellingham or just Whatcom County, is like the music education. Because I grew up in Georgia, right? So, of course, you got your band, you have your general music. But I was lucky enough, we were the first class to be like freshman to senior. And by like sophomore, junior year, we were able to choose like electives. And I got enough people to sign up on a music technology class. So they filled the computer lab with Pro Tools, a 25-key MIDI keyboard, and you get an interface and a microphone, right? So we're just going in there, just learning as much as you can. So I think it really gives kids, like I said, it's so accessible, but it gives them that initial bump or just that initial like push to know, we can actually do this.
Yeah, getting that understanding that it's within each of us.
Yeah,
you know?
You can get creative. Yep. When you talk about being an artist, you got to do,
just get going at it. Yeah, absolutely.
I love what you're doing there. Yeah.
Thanks, man. And speaking of inspiration, it's these kids that really inspired me this year to get back on the beats when I was like, man, like I don't feel like writing right now, but I definitely want to stay creative and keep myself busy. I was like, because I took a long break from making beats, right? Last year I made one beat the whole year. I was on my pen game much more. And I was just thinking, who am I to teach these kids how to make beats when I haven't made, how to make it in a while?
Imposter syndrome.
And then so on my days off aren't days off. I'm always working. I'm always polishing the sword. Musically, whatever it is.
Let me give you one piece of advice, man. Rest.
I know.
I'll tell you that right now.
I agree. I rest.
Yes, keep the grind going, but rest is important because there's always that one day I come home from work, 6 o'clock, I'll wake up at 7:45 the next morning. Swear. But all right.
So you're giving back to the community. You're doing so many shows that I've either been to or I see, like you're going to Seattle. What is next? Can we expect music? What show can we expect? I see some big things on the plate. What can we see next from you?
Man, I'm excited. Let me start with what's coming first. I have my next release, my next single coming out. It's called Mole on a White Tee, and it's a fun song. If people that don't know, mole is it's a Mexican cuisine.
It's
I
fucking.
think, you guys know what mole is, right?
Yes, I love mole.
I already knew right off rip.
So it's really just, once you hear it, it's really just about leaving a mark, leaving the stain in the game like mole on a white tee. And
I love
and
that.
it's also like paying homage to not only my culture. I'm Mexican. My family's from Michoacan, Mexico. And
yes,
I love food. You might hear that. I mean, one of my songs, Barbecue in the Back.
Barbecue, yeah, I was gonna say the whole video. Everybody just barbecue. I know y'all ate good that day.
Oh, we definitely did. We ate good, drank good, all that. Had a great time. It's really just paying homage. That song that's coming out on the 21st, Mole on a White Tee, is paying homage just to my culture. And I feel like it's one of those paying homage to my community as well. You'll hear it when it drops. I don't want to give too much out on that one, but it's a fun track. It's produced by a group of producers from France who reached out to me like 2019 over a song, Paper Planes, and they were just a fan. So we're just a lot of my producers to this day started off as fans, and that's just dropping the right song. Like, hey man, let's work. And but like I'm talking about like actual fans, not just like I'm trying to sell you something. You know, and
genuinely actually caring, yeah.
And man, the chemistry's just been building ever since, and I have like a solid producer of a solid corner of producers who I can call like friends, even though some of them I haven't met in real life, but we'll go over like a Zoom call meeting, get to know each other.
It's like making friends on like Xbox or PlayStation, you know what I'm
saying?
Man. It's the crazy world we live in.
You're making things people like. They want to be a part of things they like, not just biting off of it. They want to be a part of.
Exactly. And I'm not doing the music that I think people will like. It's just what I like, and the right people will eventually come around and like it too. So that's the next song coming out. And then on August 4th, I got a show in Spokane with Exact Change and Islo Matiz, who are some of the greatest MCs out of Washington State. I performed with them last year at a industry event. When I say industry, I say a cannabis event because I'm a bud tender. That's my other job.
Living good, baby. Living good.
Yeah. And that's where I met those guys, and I was impressed by their stage presence and all that. So impressed where I wanted to step my game up, you know? And then eventually I started listening to their music, became a fan. Just like how my producers became a fan of me, I became a fan of them. We started linking up, and now we're rocking the show together. Shout out to Islo Matiz and Exact Change. August 4th, Above the Clouds, Spokane at Lucky You Lounge.
Before we blaze here in a second, you know, you've mentioned Mount Vernon, you're growing up there. You haven't moved to Pierre, you haven't moved to Seattle, you haven't moved to places that have traditionally been kind of the hubs in trying to, you know, get noticed or being around other folks. How does living in a small town influence what you're doing? You know, not just, you know, influence your sound, influence who you are, but also having those kind of limitations with some of the people that you're playing with. How does that help push you as well?
You know, coming from a small town like Mount Vernon, as an artist, it used to be a little discouraging because the resources weren't all there. Like, I can't really think of a venue that would do hip hop like that, you know, because hip hop.
I can't even think of a venue.
I've never heard of one.
I mean, we did some shows at a very popular local theater, Lincoln Theater down there, and we were probably like one of the only hip hop shows that were ever to be done there. But let's just say we were very young when we did that, and I don't think I presented myself as professionally as I wanted to. I was just like a young kid having
We've
fun.
all done that. We've all done that, man.
But that was a spot where I shouldn't have done that, you know, like just getting too hyped up, maybe like drinking backstage. Shouldn't have done that because I could have left a better impression when I was younger. That was years back. Anyways, look, now it's really just from experience, man. I learned from that, and I feel like Mount Vernon is just getting much more shine these days than before, way more than before. And it's not just because of me. There's a lot of great people, a lot of amazing work getting done in that little community. And there's definitely some diamonds in the rough in that town. It's not just me. I just happen to be the one that's been doing it the longest, that's been sticking around. And
Consistency.
Yeah, and with the change in technology, it does allow people to stay in a small town if they want to. They don't feel that they have to push to a bigger and bigger and bigger place. And it's interesting to see how that dynamic is going to change music in itself. If people are in a spot that they feel more comfortable, having been to Mount Vernon a million times, you know, I could see why just being there would help kind of fuel that creative energy and how beautiful the area is.
It's kind of like a separation from everything else, so that one could actually be you and not be influenced by outer
Which
forces
people,
and whatnot.
You know, would say about Bellingham instead of going to Seattle. People in Seattle would say instead of going to New York or LA. You know, so
it's always something. Yeah,
exactly.
But also when you're in Mount Vernon, you're 30 minutes from here, and you're also closer to Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
Because that last 30-40-minute drive, once you hit Mount Vernon, leaving Seattle, every time I wish I still lived in Mount Vernon, I was like, I just want to stop driving. I want to go home.
I apologize.
Dude,
I
I'm a half hour after that.
I gotta get this out.
Because I grew up in Seattle, so I see my folks in Seattle, and I come home. I'm like, oh.
But when you drive back from Seattle, is everybody else sleep in the car?
So I'm not a good passenger. That's what that is. I'm making it like by four exits, and I'm like, oh, I'm staying awake. I got you. I'm gonna do this. Out. I am out like a light.
Hit College Ways.
Well before College Way, I'm asleep. I'll wake up in my bed. I'm like, oh, we've made it so far. I'm gonna stay awake. Asleep again.
That's awesome.
Man.
I drove there. I get to sleep on the way back.
Oh man, but hey, either way, sleep or not, it's a beautiful community that we got. Let's bring it back. Hey, Dank, Thank you for coming today.
Yeah, man.
Phenomenal.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing. You're an inspiration to myself as well as many others I already know. But also know I'm coming for you, bro. Like, it's a competition too, you know what I'm saying?
I'm coming for that collaboration, man. We're gonna make a banger.
Say the word.
There
I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Tomorrow.
Let's get it.
I got a soccer game tomorrow. I lied. The next day.
I'll clean the living room.
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
man.
I was hoping you'd say that because I'm hella busy tomorrow, bro.
It's
But Wednesday, you want to get something cracking on Wednesday? Holla at your boy.
Wednesday it is. All right. Hey, thank you for coming. What is this? Shut up and listen, where you're getting tapped into all local music and local things that make music happen.
There it is.
There it is.
Cue the music.